really tricky to like not step on the ball. But yeah, hopefully now they're all covered.
Natsuki Tani, Yanya Gambra, and then Natalia.
That's catch with you in the zone on the observation.
Feeling a little bit stressed in this moment?
I think she's been looking forward to this moment for a long time, and I think many Olympians had like kind of post-comp crisis, let's say. Some of them did. I don't know if she did, but she looked for it, I think, definitely.
Right, so Mia Cramble is underway. You can see the graphic on the left-hand side. That's to keep track of her score. And the best score you can get is a top. That's getting to the end of the route and clipping the final quick draw. But every hold on the way is numbered. The higher the athlete goes, the higher their score, and there's a plus as well, and we'll explain that as we continue onwards. So Mia Crample, slow to start with, cautious climbing through this bottom section, because the last thing you want to do is drop the bottom. Yes. Remember Innsbruck.
Yes, you have one chance, you have one try, you've never seen the route before, the observation, and you need to have all the moves dialed in. But then if you're too careful, you can lose a lot of power. So there has to be a balance between efficiency and well, yeah, care.
Absolutely, the time is always ticking. There it is, 4:50 on the clock. Mia Crample, slow and very cautious through this first section. And she's coming to really the first hard sequence here. And she does pretty easily getting that jug hold on the right.
Yes, and the jug is blocked, as you can see, with the hole that has kind of a plastic surface that prevents them from heel hooking. And, well, heel hooking is resting, technically. If you have a good heel hook, you're resting there. So the route setters want to make it as hard as possible, so you test the pure resistance and, well, endurance of the competitors. So they want to limit the resting place as much as possible, but competitors, as experienced as they are and as strong as they are, they always find some resting spots through the route, even some unplanned ones.
Yeah, and that blocker holds. Well, that's what Mia Cramble is on there, that rather attractive pattern design with the orange holds. And not just for aesthetic reasons, that is the blockers that Stash is talking about.
But they are also half the time just art.
I think it looks
in a
good.
way. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
like
me too.
Well, Mia is in a semi-resting position here. It's one of the few in the route, but she moves quickly through it.
So from crimps, we move to some slopers, which are, from what I see here, very shiny with dual text. So the part where her fingers are has some texture. The other parts are slippery. So there's a little jump.
Oh. Now, don't be afraid if you're a Mia Crample fan. There's a lot of cut-loose moves through this section. You have to do it. There are, I mean, you can be more static through it, but sometimes it's quicker and easier just to do that.
Yeah, you just save a lot of power by doing some moves dynamically. When you're in a static move, it's an isometric contraction, and that loses a lot of power. It's also like clipping is really exhausting. But many athletes train on spray walls, but what you can't train on spray, or you can, but you usually don't train clipping. And you clip from a completely isometric position. So you have to be in a difficult, like on a hold and a foothold, back foothold. And then you just have to let go of one hand, pull the rope and clip, and you have to hold this position. And this is really energy draining.
Well, Mia Cramble gets through that clock-like feature, which has to climb from 6 all the way back round to 12. And look at that high here for Mia Crample.
Is there a knee bar potential there?
Knee
elbow bar.
Yeah. I mean, she certainly looked for it, didn't she?
Yeah.
Right, well, Mia Crample is coming to the head wall here. That metal coping separates the overhanging section to the more vertical part of the wall.
It gets pretty technical up there. Small holds, loses control up there. I don't think she was really tired.
In finals recently, will this be her night here in Chamonix?
Yeah, I think she's going to do well now. I think she also likes climbing in Chamonix, and she's an experienced climber. I mean, slips happen. Unfortunate conditions happen. Of course, you can always do your best to prevent yourself from failing in such inconveniences, but I think now she feels confident and she climbed really well so far. So yeah, she's going to cruise.
Maybe she's at that point where it's kind of like, just forget the past. You know, it's happened. What are you going to do?
I mean, exactly. What are you going to do? And it's the best strategy to move on. You just have to forget. You can't be super critical of yourself for the whole season. And like drag this lack of luck throughout every round. It's just going to pull you down.
Well, Jessie is underway, and like Mia Crample, she's being careful through the bottom part of the route.
These look pretty uncomfortable, especially like these feet seem pretty high up for her body size. But she manages to pass the tricky section.
Yeah, and then this is the first big move. It's a cross through, jumps, locks into the jug. Good work from Jessie. Not a particularly difficult move, but certainly the first go-y section.
Yes, and you have to hit the slot because it's really easy to go too high and then just hit the blocker hold and then you're out. And yeah, it's a jug, but it's obviously a jug for just one hand, so you can't really match and rest inside.
So Jessie Pilz on 14, as you can see on the left. So she needs to beat Mia Krampel's 36 plus in order to get to the first position. And then she's on this lovely design of holds here, high foot. And finds a semi-resting position here. It looks like on your screen that you can bridge that gap, but it is deliberately awkward.
Yeah, yeah, especially if your feet are, well, at the height of your hand.
Yeah.
It's not very comfortable. But yeah, now it's from some pulling, you go to pressing. In lead climbing, you don't often see pressing positions, so it can be a little bit of a shock for the body when you find yourself in this like half mental. And suddenly from pulling and resting on like straight arms, you have to suddenly use it for pushing away. It can be a bit weird.
Yeah, and again, she's resting in a pushing position as well, which is not particularly restful.
Yeah, it is restful for the forearms. But yeah, it does strain the rest of your body and your core, absolutely.
Yeah, my shoulders were aching watching that. So Jessie now will go towards the left, and this is where the feet get tricky.
So there's this toe hook on the right, but they don't seem to be using it. Oh, nice split. Yeah,
Jessie's smearing with the left.
She might just go on the shoulder to the left like this. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't slip there.
Right.
It was close.
Did someone stop crossing something there?
Yeah.
Please don't. So Jessie has an interesting looking heel there. It's kind of pressed half on the wall.
Yeah, because you have this slippery part above it and you don't want to have the heel touch that. But this is a good position enough. Like you can like push to the right, and it's also just to have your leg up somewhere higher than your center of mass, so it doesn't load your arms.
I mean, we were talking about athletes finding heel hooks. That's a good example of it. That's not one I would have spotted.
Yeah, I don't think it was meant to be a heel hook, or maybe it was meant to be a resting point. I don't know. You never know what the route setters intended until you talk to them.
They told me there were no resting points, so once again, the athlete's proving them wrong a little bit. Jessie looking good at the moment, cutting loose when she needs to.
I think she's calm now. I think she's in really good shape. She just has yet to prove it.
So Jessie looks very calm in her own world, ignoring the crowd. Which is hard to do because there are thousands of them in the stadium watching right now.
This is a tricky section. You have to turn around a bit. Get away from the wall and the plane. And now these feet up. This is a bit of a weird section, really. It's like also you have the rope behind your leg and doesn't look very comfortable.
Yeah, you got to be careful with rope management on this. Decides to clip low.
This is weird.
Yeah, Jessie, awkward. Almost looks like she wants a knee bar in there, but it's not possible, really.
You can't really. You can just like press with the knee to your hand.
Yeah, so now she's standing up high.
Okay, so this is where Mia fell. There's a bit of a rope stuck down there. Oof.
We can see it dragging on the black volume.
Yes, and now we go again back to the volumes. Dual pegs. She has to clip from here. This is a really strenuous clipping position.
Yeah, and look how small the holds get now. This is where the crimpy section of the route kicks in for Jessie Pilz, but she is in first position with 56 seconds to go, so she's got time.
Yes, if she doesn't rest too long on this one. But yeah, you see this tiny blocker hold on this tiny crimp. So it's like, how much can you block it?
Well, they just want one finger rather than two
well,
on it.
she didn't use it, so oh well.
So Jessie bumps a hold out to the orange, and now she's got the top in sight, but she's having to work hard. Up into a tiny pinch of an undercling, that thumb working to keep her on the wall. But she's one move off here, two moves off.
2 moves, let's see.
into the side pull. This
And
could be a
now
top.
A little top. Wow.
It is from Jessie Pilt, so the bad luck is gone, dispelled. That was you at home.
Broken.
With your fingers crossed that did that.
Good job, good job. Need some, well, miles. But also I found it with myself as well, like in the last couple of weeks, like the flow just comes and it's better and better every comp. You just find yourself being more efficient and more confident on the holds and in different positions. Also with clipping, like, it was the first shock. It's just like my body was going crazy. Like, what are we doing here? Why is it so static all of a sudden? But some people can adapt much faster than the others. And Brooke is doing a really good job with this, and well, she's still very young and well, an Olympian. She did both disciplines for a long time, so that has an effect as well.
Yeah, and Brooke has yet to win a gold medal.
Oh yeah,
in lead, so and boulder. So she's looking for her first. She's of course been on the podium many times, but never got a gold.
Yeah, she's been very, very consistent this season. Alongside her team colleague Natalia.
So Brooke cutting loose on the first hard move, making everything look easy. And this is this flow. When we talk about flow, this is the thing. It's not sort of staccato between the moves. It's just effortlessly between sequences.
Yes, you're cruising. You know what you're doing. You're confident and you trust your abilities. And in lead, it's very important that you trust yourself and you trust your feet. And this ability to kind of release the tension from the hand when you're resting, because when you switch from bouldering, usually you just like over grip things, and this is very inefficient. You lose a lot of power also when you're like readjusting the hand on the hold when you grab it. So you need to learn this kind of technique to just grab the hold and then kind of release the fingers a bit so you don't overdo it.
Yeah, and over gripping is an easy thing to do, because you'd think, look, you're going to hold every hold as hard as you can,
Yes.
and yet doing that...
You don't get points for that.
No, exactly, and the pump is going to get like really intense.
Yes, yes. It's a very intense pump, especially if you mess up the clip, and then you have to stay in this position for even longer than initially. You have to practice also fast clipping. This is a very essential thing to know how to do, and a good skill, because the shorter you are in this overly tight static position, the less power you're going to lose.
So Brooke finds a knee bar, but she's got to be careful with her hand. Now releases it. Interesting, everyone doing a slightly different sequence through here, which is what the route setters thought might happen. Lots of ways through it.
Yes, when you have big holds, you can always find a way to adjust your body and your size to it and find some resting position which you wouldn't plan or you didn't like see from the ground. But there are always some little knee bars, even if they're just like pressing against the wall slightly, they can help a lot.
I love that look back from Brooke. So it reminded us all that she's having a good time out there. And Natalia said something to me which was interesting, which I think Brooke had the thing. It's like Natalia was psyched because she gets to climb on a new route for the first time. And I think you saw that with Brooke there. You know, she's having a good time out there. It's as much as she's trying, it is fun. Yeah,
it is the beautiful thing about our sport, that every time we climb, there's something new. And especially why we like it so much in the semis and finals, and also in qualies in boulder, is that we don't know what we're going to climb up until we're facing the wall and we're just at our task.
So Brooke approaches the head wall now, gets a knee bar scrub in to stand up. You can see that rope, which caused Mia Krampel a few problems, not getting in the way yet for Brooke.
Seems to be getting a bit tired, so when the shoulder starts to go up towards the head, it indicates a little bit of fatigue, but these athletes are very well trained to fight through the fatigue, so don't worry, we'll see a few moves.
Yeah, and look at that great angle down at the crowd staring up at Brooke. Oh, that's an awkward clip.
Yes, under the arm.
So Brooke squats down on that right foot, finds a semi-rest there, but that left toe it's turned around from where you want that foothold to be.
Yeah, and the other one is blocked from both sides, so nobody even uses it because you just want to avoid these things.
But Brooke is she's so good at standing on impossible things. She's just trying to use that hold.
She really likes to hold it. She likes it more than the orange one.
thinks better of it, misses the kick a little bit with the left foot.
This move is really difficult enough. So now you have to twist your whole body around, put your feet up, and now press against the volume. Too low.
She reached, got the crimp, and then slipped. Down she comes. She's not a second silver medal position at the moment with 3 athletes gone. So Brooke.
For her was pretty surprising from us, well, old boulders, old people.
Not including me in that category, that's you are right, but still.
So that was very surprising to see in what kind of good shape she was this season, and then managed to switch to lead so quickly and so well. I'm pretty impressed by these people, really, because I realize how difficult this is to do, and some of them doing it with such ease makes me jealous.
That's okay, you're allowed to say that.
Yeah.
So Xianso is underway. It's interesting how slow Jessie and Mia were through this middle section, and then Xianso just cruises it.
I think she's really good at crimps. She also proved that in the bouldering cups. Like every time we had a semi-final with very crimpy boulders, she would cruise through. She would just find it was no problem at all.
So good at crimps, so she might enjoy the top of this route if she can get there.
Probably will.
Big move first, does it statically and then cuts the feet loose.
I think she really benefited a lot from improving in bouldering as well. I don't think, from what I remember the past years, well, during the Olympic cycle and before that, she wasn't really hyped on bouldering at all. But you can see how she does certain semi-dynamic moves with much more ease than ever before. So it always, like, doing both disciplines always benefits like the other, no matter what your specialization is or what you prefer more. When you do both, even when you do speed, it's just like you get certain kind of power that you can use in bouldering as well.
Absolutely, you could see that when the athletes were training speed. Press moves, power moves seem to get easier. Well, Xianso gets crossed up underneath, makes it into an undercling.
Yeah, well, Jessie rested in the pressed position. She finds an undercling, which I don't think is more comfortable. Whatever works for Seo.
Yeah, she didn't stand it very long. She's one of those athletes who never looks like she's pumped until she falls as well.
Oh, yeah. I know, I'm very familiar with that. Just like it goes, and then you pump. But for me, it happens way earlier than for Seo, definitely.
Yeah, she has got endurance. So let's see how she can work her way through the sequences. And she's using, trying to use that toe, turned it into a heel.
Now statics it again.
Now the problem with having a heel or a toe like that is when you release it, you cause that big swing, which she had there.
Well, she avoided the jump, so she didn't have to really like launch off to hit this. So she had it with the hand and then release the feet, which is much easier than actually having to jump. Yeah, for shorter climbers, they have to commit much more in these dynamic moves or find certain heel hooks / toe hooks closer to their hands, which taller climbers wouldn't do or wouldn't be comfortable for them to do. So some people would rather jump because it's easier. But yeah, it all depends on your style and then on your body composition and your strengths.
So Xianso rests a little bit here. This move with our camera, make it look so good, snatching into the volume. No jib or anything on that volume.
It seems really important to get the right sequence with your hand, with your feet here, and then everyone, you see, they do like a little push with their knee against their hand, so you can just like use an extra force inwards.
So Xianso doing well as she works out how to get through this head wall sequence.
No one really used this first hold here, and everyone just went on together. I think she's trying to get some knee bar, but she,
Now, is that because she's desperate for a rest, or just because she thinks it's the most efficient way, do you think?
I can't be sure, Matt. I think
Yeah, sorry, you can't read their minds, so I do appreciate that. But it was interesting because she didn't look pumped, and yet she was kind of fighting for that position.
I think she was a bit pumped by the way she snatched on the volume lower. She like pulled her head a bit. That can also be a sign of some fatigue, but maybe she thought there must be a knee bar. I don't know. I can't tell you. Yeah. You never know.
I mean, it makes sense for there to be one in that position, but anyway. So Xianso's into the crimps, which she said she might like. So let's see if she does on this sequence here.
A few shouldery moves here before she gets to the side pull section of blocked crazy holds. Oh, she skips this one. Brooke liked the other one.
Yeah, I have no idea why that hold's really there.
Yeah,
but,
me neither.
Maybe someone will use it at some point. Into the undercling now, and then rotates the body round to the left. And Cheon-Seo is on for a top here.
She seems fairly comfortable here.
Yeah, this is the move where we lost Brooke, but she's just chalking up on it as she reaches up. Side pull, one move off for Cheon-Seo. She's going to pop for the top. She does, holds it, and she will clip the chains for another top. And because she is in a higher position, she will jump. Oh, no. And halfway through this women's final, the men's is yet to come to the stage. There she is. She's back in action. Now, we often talk about Laura struggling perhaps on dynamic moves. There isn't a lot in this route that I've seen that will test her like that.
Yeah, no, she doesn't really struggle with dynamic moves so much. I think she struggles with like big compressions. I think this is more of her weakness, but we don't see this here, so I think she's going to top this route. I won't judge too early, you know, never know. But I think she just has endless endurance and a lot of crimps in this route, and I think she'll just do it easily.
Well, Stash has called it early here. That's a brave thing to do.
Oh, man, you just put so much pressure on my judgment.
It's fine, you can commentator cursor all you want. So, Laura Ruggerer is underway, and you can see in the background the sun is starting to set on the mountains, creating that image that every photographer loves here.
Yeah, it's pretty scenic around here.
So, Laura is underway. Now, this is the first launchy move. Gets it easily for her, cuts loose, gets the feet on.
So we talked about flow and over-gripping, so I think she was over-gripping here a bit. She might have some grudge against the dynamic moves and long moves, but so that's why she just tries to be as secure as possible. We don't see that flow that we've seen with Brooke, but that won't stop her from climbing pipe.
So what is the danger of over-gripping, that everything just tenses up a bit?
Yeah, you just, well, pump yourself up. Basically, you just collect lactic acid, and if you can't, let's say, get rid of it by shaking off or resting, well, it's going to stay there and get you pumped.
So Laura pressing upwards, semi-rest in here, but it's so awkward, deliberately done so, and you can see how awkward it is, almost banged her head.
You don't know what to do with your head, you just have to like find some position.
Well, Brooke head jammed last week in Vilas. Oh, this is awkward for Laura.
She doesn't like the press, really. She couldn't find herself comfortable in there. She's really struggling to rest her left hand.
Yeah, she'll know it is a rest, and she's trying to find a position of comfort, but as you can see, it's not easy.
She's trying to go on the underclink somehow.
So Laura getting a little flustered under there. Now she moves through it, and I think she'll probably feel better once she's underway again.
Yeah, definitely. So we realize she doesn't like pressing, okay?
Okay, so watch the feet through here. And see how she does it. She looks for the toe hook, which is logical. Then immediately you've got to leave it because it's quite a long way to the left.
Yeah, this toe hook, I think, helps you rest a little bit before this section, but she's just going to find another toe hook here in order to not have a big swing and not jump here.
Oh, shouldery move from Laura, sticks it.
And there's a knee bar. Oh, that's a rest. Oh,
there we go.
So resting, like you said that root setters told you,
yes,
you can't rest.
They tried to eliminate the rest, but as we can see, that's rubbish.
So I got a question. Why is that so, that there's so many unpredicted rests in females and much more than in males? Is it because of the lack of testing, that we don't have like many female testing? Well,
like root setters.
Root setters, yeah. and people like ex-competitors or anyone who could like try the route and judge by, well, by their expertise. But also when we watch the demonstration of the routes for the qualification, it just looks that the demonstrators or route setters are clipping from, well, let's say uncomfortable positions, and then we all find a way to go around their beta. So there definitely is some thing there.
Oh, hang on, it's Laura cuts loose and then goes feet first through there. Let's go back to resting in a sec, because we'll carry on when she's resting next.
When she finds the knee bar that Seo did,
yeah,
or like try to, because you really have to break your leg to get here.
Well, there he is again.
There is? Oh. No, it's the one we saw earlier.
Yeah, it's just pressing in underneath.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, she has got a knee bar in there. It's not the best, but it's there.
At least something, yeah.
What a fight this is from Laura Roggerer.
Yes.
And there's a blocked crimp coming up, you can see, so just enough for 3 fingers on that. And then she presses up high.
That's where we lost Mia at the beginning, but she's gonna keep fighting up here.
Right, so Laura's onto the last section. And I mean, I'd say she's looking pumped, but to be honest, she's looked in trouble since the bottom, and she's done brilliantly to get this far.
And she has a minute still left to go. So the time doesn't matter for her, but she needs to not time out. Oh, she skips the shoulder remove, which would save her a bunch of energy there. Ah, smart.
Very smart from Laura, and like almost predictably, she uses that terrible crimp, which she loves. Look at that,
oh,
cranking on it.
Oh, but this one is now, oh, okay. Oh. I wanted to say it was harder, but it doesn't seem to be.
No, I mean, it looks logical when she does it.
Oh, yeah.
Up, I think Laura's going to top out here. Stasha called it.
Oh,
maybe I talked too early.
I don't know, let's not
I just got so nervous watching this.
She needs the right foot a bit higher than that foothold, but I don't know if she can. Oh, yeah, there it is.
She's fighting, isn't she?
The left crimp is good, but this one is not. And now you just have to bump again, but I don't know if she can.
It's going to be a swingy move, and she is pumped. Can she stick this final?
She's going to stay in for so long, but she can't move.
She sets herself up, gets it, 10 seconds to go. She's going to clip those chains, topping out, and she will jump to the top of the leaderboard in gold medal.
You can find yourself, like, your knee might not fit in a knee bar, where somebody else who's shorter could. This is also like the matter of leg length, and the root setters are usually much taller than most women, and maybe this is why they think, oh, you cannot rest here, there's no way you can fit in this, but it's just because they can't. I think so, I don't know, and yeah, definitely we lack female root setters, we need more of them. It's definitely a fact.
Well, thank you, Stasha. That's, as you can see, Stasha is the expert of this kind of analysis, so thank you. Well, Natsuki Tani is underway here. Her best ever is 3rd in a lead World Cup. Can she better that tonight in Chamonix? We know this route is toppable. Just look at that top 3, so it's possible. Can Natsuki Tani find something special here this evening? She's through the first section easily. She was 8th in Villars, 5th in Innsbruck. Consistently getting into the top 10.
Yeah, she's in a really good run this season.
Right, so Natsuki will set herself up. And you can see chalking up. She knows that it gets more and more intense from this moment onwards. Reaches through, similar to Laura, and then cuts loose and puts the foot on. Mia Krampel looking lonely there on the wall. It's because all top 3 are at the top of the wall. 1, 2, 3, as you can see indicated on the graphic.
Yeah, it's a pity that Mia fell that low. I think she could have pushed a bit more, and she was also pretty shocked when she fell down. She didn't expect that slip.
So Natsuki makes the clip. Good climbing from her so far, precise with the feet.
I've watched a lot of Japanese climbers yesterday in the qualifications. They're all so calculated. They're all like, it's a difficult move and they can't do it the intended way, but they're gonna find a way. They're just gonna try everything else. And little bits by little bit, they still find a way through, no matter the wrong beta or anything. And they have a lot of endurance. They can do a lot of moves, but if they're a bit more difficult, they might not be able to do the move, but they can do some other move that was, well, not intended. Yeah, as you can see, like, she just pushes her elbow from the inside. None of the other competitors rested like this, from what I remember. It's all about improvising when you feel stuck.
Yeah, look at the difference in Laura, who we just saw resting in that position, and Natsuki. It's night and day, isn't it?
Laura was panicking in that position. Yeah. She was so desperate to find something, and she couldn't. And I think she just lost more energy than she actually regained in that one.
It shows her endurance because she carried on top the thing out. I mean, it's like, come on.
That was a panic climb there.
Brilliant from her. Well, Natsuki starts this sequence, which we're familiar with now. So the toe helps, but she's got to release it in a sec. But look at resting again. And this is the cut loose.
Yeah, you can cut loose with straight arms, more or less. I think they're pretty okay holds. If they were much worse, you would have to engage your shoulders and biceps a lot more to hold on to that.
So with a back heel there with the left, sets that in place.
It's always better to put your feet in any way than to not put your feet at all. So like this back heel or twisted toes or whatever weird looking positions that probably your climbing instructors never like recommended or told you they're completely wrong. They can always help you in the route. So like, don't worry, don't get embarrassed by any weird positions. She's trying to match hands. Oh.
I tell you what, this women's route is it's interesting watching the different ways they're climbing it.
It's like, I always dislike matching holds. It's like, I despise it, really. I have big hands.
I was about to say, you've got massive fingers, that's what it does.
Crimps.
Right, so Natsuki gets this half a knee bar in on the corner of the volume.
She just removes the hand, tries to clip it. She doesn't feel, oh, does the same thing with the cross. It's not as bad as it looks.
Oh, she looks pretty chilled out up there. So she's shaking out that right hand, trying to get rid of the pump. It's not really a full knee bar either, it's just the corner.
Well, you're basically pressing up against your hand, and if you remove the hand, you're only on your right hand on this blocked crimp. So you don't want to lose any of that for a knee bar.
Oh, looking awkward though. She tries to get stood up onto the head wall.
She took the blocked foothold, no?
Yeah, I think so. So she's up onto the side pulls. 37 her score.
And climbers keep like consistently coming up to the head wall with 1 minute left to go, which proved enough, or well, almost enough for some.
Yeah, and she did check the clock there. The athletes can see it from that position. And Natsuki Tani has, 47 seconds, lots of time. She's done this well.
So I think this hop might be a bit too good for this crux to be difficult. And yeah, she skips the jib.
Yeah, Laura the only one to do that so far.
I think Brooke took it to like go again, but she didn't bother with it.
Yeah, it didn't really
anymore.
No. So Natsuki Tani is looking to upgrade the feet. She's 2 moves off. She's having to work
looks a bit
out.
Awkward up there. She doesn't trust the foot forward, it seems.
Out onto the side pull. 1 move off. The pop to the top.
Same as Laura.
And drops the top. Head in her hands as she comes down. She was, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Things can happen. Obviously, she can step on the vault. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, true.
Yeah, it happens to everyone. But I think she's experienced enough. I think maybe she's even. Is she the oldest? I don't know if she's the oldest in the. No, Jessie's the oldest. Sorry, maybe second oldest, but definitely one of the most experienced climbers out there. And she knows how to handle. She's been in this position so often before that there were many tops before that, and she knew that she had to do it, and she had to do it quick, especially with Natalia coming after that, where time can decide between them.
Yeah, so the clock is a factor now. Remember that. If Janja wins here tonight, well, this is her 20th lead World Cup win, which puts her joint 3rd in the all-time list for wins.
And what, 51 medals in total?
Yeah.
It was 50 was last week.
50 was last week, so this is 51. I mean, that's just, what else do you say about this lady? Anyway, she's underway, into the jug, cuts loose, one arms her way through that move.
Now that little orange art up here on the turquoise element of the wall.
A poetic session. Yeah. So she's coming through, and it's like that because of the blockers. They're quite good, some of those orange holds. They don't want the women to get unnecessary heel hooks for them.
And unnecessary jug rests. So you because if you get a rest that's good enough, you basically reset completely. And well, route setters don't want that. They want a good fight, as we all do. Yeah,
there's a hive of activity down on the floor as Janja climbs upwards. Everyone crowding around the stage, watching her. So Janja crosses through, gets stood up high, and now she begins the really hard part, the hard section of this route. And it can go wrong at this moment. Walks her feet up turquoise volume.
So, yeah, Janja's been around for a while. Actually, she started competing when she was 16. Well,
Yep.
basically since she was eligible. And
oh, look at that! Sorry, she cuts loose in the
Yeah.
spotlight.
She likes them good jumps. Yeah, the route might not be hard enough for her. I know she really enjoyed Innsbruck because she was like, finally, there's a hard route. But if there's a hard route, other people fall in the middle of the wall. And she came to like, I don't know, 10, 11 moves further than the second climber, and she still didn't even come close to the top. And yeah, she likes a good challenge, but people also want to see tops.
Yeah, but the clock is important in this,
Yes.
remember, because if Natalia tops it as well, it's going to come down to time. So, as Stasha, that's you. As Janja gets the
Oh yeah,
clip
it's me
swinging.
up there. Oh no, why are you struggling with this?
Okay, so she's fumbling this clip a little bit, and remember the clock. So, Janja needs to climb quickly here.
She knows that this was unnecessary. I think she wasn't sure what kind of a hold this one is, so she could have clipped from here easily, but she just wanted to play it safe and then realized she made a mistake, and now she's going to try to shake off that mistake.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier in the semi-finals how much mistakes can impact the rest of the route, because it's hard to recover from that, especially when it's at this level.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge that you made a mistake, obviously, but you have to be able to reset from it or try to make it have the least impact on the rest of your performance. And you know, if you're in good shape, it shouldn't affect you much.
Well, Janja is having to fight her way through this route a little here, perhaps unsettled by that moment.
Seems to be the comfiest clip, actually, this weird position.
And she's quick as well, because the other athletes ran about a minute. Oh,
yeah,
no, 'cause
but
they
that
were
was
resting.
after the
Yeah,
rest,
true.
so she shouldn't be resting more than 30 seconds here. I think she needs to be up there with a minute and a half at least. And it's interesting to see sometimes when the climber that is supposed to chase the time comes out, they start rushing. Like, I think Laura did that in Innsbruck, and she just started super fast. But the route wasn't the one you could go fast on. So then she suddenly 10 moves in, she just had to slow down her pace because it was impossible to climb like that. Sometimes you have to be steady no matter the time.
Well, she is faster than the rest here. Janja comes through.
There's another little rest here in this side pull, but she just decides to continue.
Yeah, uses that bad hold as an intermediate before popping into the orange undercling.
Is this very particularly weird undercling? It's probably blocked as well.
That was a move. We lost Brooke. Janja's through clean. Now, we saw Natsuki Tani drop the top here because of pump.
So Janja knows she has to top. She has 2 moves in, and she can even reach it.
Goes up with a right hand, pumps. Come on, Janja,
celebrate.
clip. Right, she clips. 47-ish is the clock there, so we're going to keep a note of that. Right, so Janja Natalia Grossman pulls onto the wall. Here we go. Keep an eye on the clock, remember.
It's all about speed now.
It's all about speed now. You thought that was last night. You were wrong.
It's on different speed now.
So that's what she has to do. Mia Krampel, the only one not topping out so far, which is crazy. Oh, no, sorry, Natsuki Tani as well, dropped the top.
Yeah. Did she stand on the... Oh, she stood on the Dortex a bit. She really likes standing on the plastic parts of the volume.
Yeah.
And yeah, it confuses me sometimes, like that level of confidence.
Yeah, good advert for sticky shoes, that
Yeah.
one. So Natalia reaches up, makes the clips. Remember, the athletes have to clip all of those quick draws. They can't free solo it to the top.
And they have to clip it in correct order. If they re-clip, sometimes that happens in the first 2, they grab the rope from underneath and clip the second one, and then they're like up and down. They have to unclip and then re-clip. But yeah, if you skip, if you don't clip at a certain point, you will be pulled down, and you can't just keep going as much as you can.
Yeah, we've all seen mistakes like that happen in comps where an athlete climbs past the possible clipping point, is trying to reach back and under, and
yes.
we all get very nervous in the commentary box. Like, it's so sweaty hands when that happens. Right, Natalia Grossman rests in that horizontal position we saw Janja do as well. And then rocks up. All eyes focused on Natalia Grossman now.
Yeah, the beauty of lead is that you can find your flow and then you can really find yourself enjoying it. In boulder, everything happens really fast. You're up and down, up and down, up and down. But in lead, especially in the moments you're resting, you can just take a moment to breathe in and enjoy the moment. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is the biggest stage, and this is such a jewel of an event. So Natalia gets through the orange sequence easily, not stopping for long. Gets the first toe, that allows you to rest. And then how will she do this move? Will she bump the toe? She's going to, I think. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, and now the shoulder. This seems to be the easiest way to do it, although probably completely unintended.
So the heel in, similar to way Jessie had it.
Yeah, this foot on the volume is pretty solid up down there, so it's a pretty safe position. Or I think I like Laura's knee bar. I'm pretty like surprised why not many, like why not more of them had the knee bar there. It seems like a pretty obvious one. Is that reverse heel?
So slightly different from Natalia. Yeah, no one else found that knee bar, you're right. Big drop knee. She eyes up the next part, eyes flicking upwards. She knows this is a physical sequence, and it is.
To lock us off well, get it precisely in. And then
shoulder muscles there.
Getting your hand out of that cross is sometimes pretty difficult. But doesn't really know what to do with her feet there.
Yeah, so lead to the feet, and now into the crimps. And I would imagine she's going to find this knee bar coming up. She's good at seeing them. 2 minutes 25.
Maybe a bit faster than Janja. You never know.
Yeah, I think so, slightly.
We'll see how much fatigue she has here. She looks a bit tired there.
She trusted that knee bar more than anyone else.
Oh yeah, she clipped from bad hold.
Yeah, Natalia, full trust in the knee, so that will allow her to rest a little bit.
She knows to change her hands first. She used the space for the knee, so she can't go back in the undercling, which is a bit difficult now. This might be done way too difficult for the, like, compared to other athletes.
Yeah, so Natalia's in a good position, crosses through. Getting huge support from the American team in the background. Oh, that rope, now bumps it into the quick draw.
That happens way too often.
Yeah. Gate not quite closing. Natalia fighting now as she goes upwards.
Yeah, she seems pretty tired up here.
Now we know that these moves are droppable. This is where Brooke came off.
Now she goes with a bit different. She doesn't know what to do with her feet. So Brooke didn't have her feet well positioned. All the other athletes bumped their left foot immediately after placing the right, and she just doesn't really want to do it. This is the thing about those weird underclings, that you have to like twist your body so much and push your legs up.
Big move, and Natalia goes down. Ah, Stash, you were right. She never looked. Have a look at confirmation of those results. Janja Gambret with a top, Laura Rogera and Cheon So. So I'll say goodbye to you. Come back and join me in the commentary box soon.
Yeah, see you later.
That's what she has to do. Mia Krampel, the only one not topping out so far, which is crazy. Oh no, sorry.